She was nearly frozen to death in the cold storage room, yet she had to put out the burning cardboard boxes because the fire was consuming too much oxygen. If this continued, she would suffocate before freezing to death. As the temperature in the cold storage plummeted, she slowly lost consciousness. She couldn't understand why even after reliving her life, she still couldn't escape the same fate as before. In her previous life, she was tricked into the cold storage by her fiancé and adoptive sister, locked inside for 3 days and 3 nights. By the time she was rescued, she was barely alive. Only on her deathbed did she learn that her adoptive sister had long been conspiring with her fiancé. Once she died, they would target her critically ill grandfather, then smoothly take over the company. In the end, she closed her eyes filled with regret and resentment. When she opened them again, she had been reborn, back to the very day she was locked in the cold storage. Remembering her grandfather waiting at the hospital, she vowed to escape alive this time. There were only 10 minutes left until the next cold storage check. She knew this was her only chance, so she desperately pounded on the cold storage door. But after knocking for a long time, there was no response outside, because the door was made of high-strength alloy. Sounds simply couldn't get through. In her panic, she pushed a table hard against the door. Just then 2 security guards on patrol happened to pass by. One of them heard a noise and came closer to check, but the sound inside suddenly stopped. The guard thought he had misheard, and soon left with his colleague. It turned out she had slipped while ramming the door, hit her head on the table and knocked herself out. Meanwhile, her grandfather, unable to reach her, quickly called her fiancé and adoptive sister to discuss. The company air transition ceremony was in 3 days. How could she disappear without a word? To seize the inheritance status, the fiancé and adoptive sister lied that she had grown tired of managing the company. That was why she had left without saying goodbye. With the two of them echoing each other, her grandfather was soon convinced, mistakenly believing she was intentionally avoiding him. Unbeknownst to them, she was moving frantically in the cold storage, because if she stopped, she would quickly freeze to death. The temperature had now dropped to -5 degrees. The cooling unit activated as programmed. According to its settings, it would keep lowering the temperature to -35 degrees. By then, she would have no chance of survival. Staring at the blowing cooling unit, she suddenly had an idea. She tore apart cardboard boxes from the storage, used tape to cover the air vent, but just as she was about to succeed, she slipped and fell hard to the ground. The ladder toppled from the reaction force, crashing into a nearby shelf. Before she could react, the shelf came crashing down. With a sharp cry, she quickly lost consciousness. Back at the hospital, since her disappearance, her assistant had been searching everywhere for her. She was always responsible and dedicated at work. It was impossible for her to abandon the company like this. The assistant suspected something had happened to her and begged the old chairman for more time, promising to find her. After who knows how long unconscious, she finally woke up. The temperature had now plunged to -17 degrees. She knew to survive, she had to block the air vent. If cardboard couldn't do it, she might as well disable the fan directly. If she could stop the fan from cooling, she could hold out until the next patrol. Thinking this, she pulled a steel pipe from the shelf, climbed the ladder and pried open the fan's protective grill. Only one step remained. She steadied her breath, gripped the steel pipe tightly, and with all her strength, drove it hard into the fan.